Hi, my name is Robert Richardson. I'm a landscape architect at Howell Vancuren. I've been with the firm for 8 years now. Initially, I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma and went to school at Oklahoma State. Today we're at Tulsa Botanic Garden. This is the Children's Discovery Garden, and it was started in the fall of 2016. Construction took about 8 months and it finished up in the spring of 2016 when it opened up to the public. There's two ways to enter Children's Garden. There's the main entrance that leads into the family terrace, and right next to it is the child's gate that kids and really anybody can walk under, and it creates a nice little entrance. Our office, Howell Vancuren, had been working with Tulsa Botanic Garden for many years on the master plan and then on floral terraces, and the Children's Garden was the second major project that was built at Tulsa Botanic Garden. Having children's gardens are a big draw for visitors. They're a place where people can have birthdays and have different events, and school groups come out here. And of course we know when there's a kid here that visits the garden, their parents bring them here, so it's kind of like doubling your visitors. The Children's Garden, the main goals were to have education where kids could come and learn about plants and different animals that can be found in the state of Oklahoma. The sensory garden has different plants that evoke different senses. So we've got some that are here for smell, and some for touch, and some for hearing that make noise when the wind blows and moves the leaves. The inspiration for the Children's Garden was based on a lot of old world gardens. There's old ruined gardens that are in Italy, and that was really the design that inspired the spring giant. In the middle of the stream valley is the giant bridge, and it has framework that's painted, and it's designed in order to emulate a sunrise. He's got a grotto that you can walk into the back, and that's found in a lot of old world European gardens. And then there's more formal sculptures like the spitting animals that are carved out of limestone along the stream. And a lot of those statues and different artwork elements are things that could be found in Europe. My favorite part of the Children's Garden design is the spring giant. There's a lot of different elements that went into constructing the giant. There's the face of him has a lot of different animals on it. There's a crawfish on his nose. There's two fish that make up his jowls. He's got rocks on the back of his head that have different planting pockets where vines can grow down and make hair. His ceiling inside the giant has an oculus that has a rainbow pattern when light goes through it, and that makes a rainbow across the floor inside the giant. There's stalactites that grow in the ceiling. There's different benches and nooks that kids can sit on. And then in the ceiling there's different pieces that kids can seek out and find that keep them interested. There's different bats and things you can find, and those are all found in the ceiling of the giant. Behind the spring giant there's a music area. There's a warped wall that you can walk up. Creates a nice little feature that people like to climb and walk up and down. There's mosaic tiles that create a little labyrinth in the middle that you can walk through. And then there's different musical pieces that you can play on. There's drums. There's a xylophone. We've got a couple benches here with little tables, and these are used a lot by parents that bring their kids in here, and they can still keep an eye on their kids as they go through the garden, but it creates a nice space where they can relax. The tree fort was built around a grove of post oak trees that were found at the Children's Garden site when we were figuring out where it would be located. And in order to build the tree fort around these trees, all the support posts for the fort were actually driven into the ground. We didn't do any concrete footings, and that was done to protect the tree roots. On the platform of the tree fort there's two oak thrones, and these are done by a local wood carver. There's the daytime throne, and he has different animals on his face, like a mourning dove and a squirrel and a cardinal and then a fox. And these are all animals that you'll see throughout the day. And then there's a nocturnal throne, and on her face we've got a frog and an owl and bats and a raccoon. And those are all nighttime animals that you'd find in Oklahoma during the night. We wanted to help people interact with the trees, and to do that we built a little footbridge that people can walk down and really immerse themselves in the tree canopy. The path from the tree fort separates off into many different directions. You can go up to the stream valley and see the spring giant, or you can go over to the family terrace, where you can take it this way and go down to the meadow. The butterfly stroll and all the plants on this side of the meadow are designed to attract butterflies at different stages of their life, from caterpillars to chrysalis to the actual butterflies that people see. At the south end of the children's garden, there's the children's amphitheater, and this has rockwork walls that create little seats that kids can sit on. And then there's umbrellas that people can open up when they need shade out here in the summertime. The stone used on the walls of the children's amphitheater was native stone that was found at the Tulsa Botanic Garden. And this is the same stone that was used for retaining walls at floral terraces, and that really helps tie these two gardens together and create a cohesive appearance for the children's garden. My final thoughts on the project about 3 years after construction are, you can really see the plants start to take over the pathways, and it's really fun to walk through the garden and really get immersed in all the different plants and get to experience it at really that kind of intimate level where you're really kind of part of the garden.